Hey everybody, how's it going? I hope you're having a lovely day. So in this episode of Everything Sucks, we are going to be going over a phone brand that I used to evangelize that seems to be going down the shitter. So as many of you know, I've spoken very well of the Moto G series of phones because they are about $150. They're liquid resistant. You can drop it over and over again and they tend to not crack. They used to actually have, I know this has probably changed, but they used to actually have a little bit something called a bezel back in the day so that if you dropped the phone, you would scratch the edge rather than break the screen. Really cool. I doubt they have that anymore. But I used to be a really large fan of these phones because they just worked very, very well and they were dirt cheap. And it was the closest thing to a smartphone version of the Nokia 3310 that I could find. I liked it very much. And I did a durability test here where I tried throwing it at the wall over and over again until it broke. And I also have a video here, why I love my cheap phone, not sponsored, just truth, talking about the Moto G. And I did another video where I spent almost an hour comparing and contrasting it to a Samsung S7 that cost approximately 4 times as much as my Moto G. So this is really disappointing. Now they have this one series of phones called the Motorola One, and the idea behind the Motorola One is that you're supposed to be guaranteed updates for a longer period of time than some of their other devices. So a lot of people who like Motorola devices would buy the Moto One if they wanted updates for a longer period of time, and this just showed up on the Lenovo forums. So is this phone still getting Android 12? So this person who works for Lenovo, supposedly Agent Sandeep, said, "Hi, I know we've advised that the Motorola One Ace 5G would receive Android 12. This was the original plan. However, the plans have changed. The Motorola One 5G Ace has received its One OS upgrade to Android 11 and will not be getting an update to Android 12. It will continue to receive frequent Play Store updates to Moto apps. The decision whether to upgrade a device is made on a case-by-case basis with several factors in mind, including carrier approvals, partner support, the capabilities of the device, the number of devices in use, where the device is in its life cycle, and the overall experience. We truly apologize for any miscommunication or confusion this has caused. Regards, Sandeep." And there are a lot of people that are fairly aggravated at this, understandably so. Not only has Motorola been insanely slow at rolling out updates for year-old versions of Android already on a device that's supposed to be getting more frequent updates, but they also decide at the last minute, right as the device is ending support, oh, by the way, that update you guys have been waiting like 6 months for, it's never going to happen. Screw you. So many people are angry at this, and understandably so. One person over here said this phone is not getting Android 12. This was probably decided 6 to 10 months ago. They never had the decency to tell their customers, as you can tell by Sandeep's constant reply, that it is coming. So there are many responses on this forum where people were asking, is this getting Android 12? And the people that work for Lenovo kept saying, yes, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. We'll tell you when it's done. And they did this all the way up until the end, and right at the end, because the device has a certain period of time where they claim that they will provide updates for it, they say that you're not actually going to get the update. So a lot of people may have actually been buying this device in anticipation of it getting something, which goes back to a rule that I learned when I was 13 years old. If it does not come with the device, it doesn't exist. Whether it's an OS update or a feature or anything else, if it doesn't come with the device, it doesn't exist and should be assumed to be vaporware. Don't buy Lenovo again. This includes Motorola phones. One of my favorite comments here is, I purchased my phone from Costco in Canada about a year and a half ago. My purchase decision was made with the fact that all major tech community sites had the 5G Ace on the official Motorola list of devices that would receive the Android 12 update. If it was not on that list, I probably would not have purchased this phone at the time. Forward 1 year later, November 2022, I was on Motorola.ca mobile phone support site and was chatting with an agent. I asked her if Android 12 was still coming for our devices, and she replied that it will not. I asked if that decision was final and was told from the management team that this decision was already made months ago. I regret not saving the chat as a log. So all the agents on the US support site were lying to all of you for many months, as I cannot believe they did not have the same information as the Canadian support site, giving standard canned message responses until support date has expired. Thank you for being so dishonest, Sandeep. You would be a fool to purchase another Motorola device unless ownership changes and the update policies are clearly rewritten. What kind of company lies to their current customer base blatantly to their faces? So they were telling people in Canada something different than what they were telling people in the United States when they asked if they were going to receive that update, and they kept saying, oh, it's coming, oh, don't worry about it. And then once they run out the clock and we get to the point where you're done, you're not getting Android 12. Like, again, and a lot of phones right now are on Android 13, which was released something like 5 or 6 months ago, and they haven't even gotten Android 12 that came out years ago, and they're at the end of the update cycle. And this is something that really makes me sad, because I've had people email me about this saying, hey, Lewis, you recommended Motorola. You said Motorola is a good company, so I bought a Motorola and this happened. It is like, there's so few companies that actually treat people like human beings rather than like disposable trash anymore. And it's sad. It really is sad. I shouldn't be smiling as I say this. My dad used to have this saying, if I didn't laugh, I'd cry. But it's true. You know, a lot of people have said, well, I don't know. Who do you recommend for a phone, Louis? What should I get? Honestly, I don't know. Really? You have Samsung that's trying to destroy the entire repair industry through BS patent complaints, got rid of the headphone jack, micro SD card slot, and pretty much became Apple, while increasing the prices of all their products. You have LG that went out of business. You have OnePlus, which got rid of the headphone jack, micro SD card slot in a couple of models, and is trying to encrypt a battery so you can't replace it in their tablets. You have Apple, where you can't even install an application of your choice on the device that you paid $1,500 for because Tim Cook doesn't want to let you. You have a Pixel, where you're missing a micro SD card slot and a headphone jack. I'm using it again. Oh, and then you have all the phones that run normal stuff. So Samsung released a phone that has a micro SD card slot, a headphone jack, and a removable battery, but it runs standard Android, which, as I've mentioned in some of my videos, is constantly spying on you. You have Fairphone, which is one of the nicest ones of them all. They make schematics available. They try to make a repairable device. Really cool. They also claim that getting rid of the headphone jack makes the phone more environmentally friendly at the same time that they released $100 Bluetooth earbuds. None of these companies are companies where I can give them a grade of A+. None of them. I think Fairphone is the furthest along because, again, they release schematics for the phone. They try to make something that's fixable. You can install Calyx OS on it if you want to. I am personally using a Pixel 6 because I can install Graphene OS on this, so I don't have a micro SD card slot or a headphone jack, which sucks, and I have a phone with a fingerprint reader that's built into the screen, which really sucks compared to the Pixel 4a 5G that had it on the back. The dedicated fingerprint sensors tend to actually work a lot better than the garbage that's built into the screen. And it's just a really weird form factor. I decided that I wanted a phone that ran Graphene OS. When I saw in all the studies going over all the data that gets collected on you and how it gets used when you are using a phone that uses stock Android or a stock Pixel or a stock Samsung phone, I said, screw this. I don't want any of that. I like the idea of having separate profiles, having sandbox Google Play services, and having all the hardening that's done by Daniel McKay's team at Graphene OS. But yeah, this phone has a sealed-in battery. I hate that. There's no headphone jack. I don't like that. There's no micro SD card slot. That sucks. And admittedly, one of the really only few reasons I'm using this phone is because I got it for free. But in all seriousness, what phone manufacturer doesn't treat people like shit in some way, shape, or form? None of them. I don't have a recommendation for you. I really don't. The closest thing I have is Fairphone. But again, every time I recommend that, I love that they made schematics available. God bless them for doing that. They said that they got rid of the headphone jack because it makes the phone more environmentally friendly. Like, none of these devices allow me a clean and clear conscience saying, I stand behind this. I sponsor this. I'm proud to own this. Every single one of these modern cell phones that I can buy has some sort of garbage behind it. And this is Motorola's. So yeah, I mean, this is something that really, you have to understand, this is being done on the line that was specifically advertised as the phone that is most likely to get updates. And it's stuck on Android 11. This stuff is just dishonest. It's really dishonest. And it makes people that recommended Motorola look like crap. But I'm open to them changing it. I'm open to them changing their mind because unlike a lot of people in my comments section that are really pissed off when I give a company a chance to actually do the right thing, I want to give companies a chance to do the right thing. That's what we're about on this channel. Not just senselessly bashing people from now until the end of time, but actually giving them a chance to do the right thing. I do this even with Apple. Even with Apple, I will come out when they say that they're about to do a good thing, and I will say I am happy that they tried to do a good thing. This often makes me look really, really, really bad, as I've mentioned in some of my old videos. Congratulations, Apple, for doing a good thing. Thank you, Apple, for releasing a repair program, and you guys know how that went. But I will always give people the chance to do the right thing. That is what this channel is for. That is what I hope happens. We bring attention to issues, we talk about them, and then people change. This happened in the video I did yesterday on the ultrasonic cleaner. I said that I've had issues buying from them. And then I said a chief executive at the company reached out to me, apologized, hat in hand, said, here are the things that we're open to changing so that this never happens to anybody ever again. And I said that I'm open to having a conversation with him. And what did all these comments say? How dare you? Sell out, flip-flopper. I don't believe in permanent cancel culture. I really don't. I believe in there being a path to redemption. But that starts with companies and people actually changing. If Apple came out today and said, we are going to make schematics and diagrams available, and we are going to stop cock-blocking Intersil and Texas Instruments and everybody else from selling you parts that you need to fix your products, I'd break bread with Tim Cook. Shit, I'd buy Tim Cook dinner at Fogo de Chao, and I enjoy eating it together. I am for things changing in a positive direction. But I have to admit, my audience does have a point that things so very rarely change in a positive direction. They so rarely do. We'll see. I think that this phone is more than capable of running Android 12. And in spite of the fact that it's a budget phone, if Lenovo said that it was going to get Android 12, I think that they should put Android 12 on it. And that if they don't do that, that everybody who purchased this phone should go somewhere else. The problem, again, is where you're going to go. Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? To the company that doesn't lie to their customers? To the company that's nice to their customers? To the company that, doesn't take away features and functionality and repairability and the concept of sovereign ownership? Good luck with that. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. That being said, now that we're at the end of the video, I can pet the berry. I can pet the berry. It's a good blackberry. All right. See you next time.